Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga Section. I'm here today to bring a review for One Piece episode 1018. So this episode can be split into two parts really, and that's Roof Piece, Worst Generation versus Kaido and Big Mom, obviously, come on. And there was a small talk with the CP0 agent, and then we flip back to Roof Piece to just tease something, and that's essentially the episode. So the first thing I want to say about the episode is that we start off where we left off with the last episode, with Luffy in the middle of a Gatling gun, obviously of the Gear 4 variety. And now for me personally, this Gatling gun was going on for way too long. I just really felt like this was something that they was doing to stretch out the episode. But I really feel like it just going on for way too long, and it affected the beginning pacing of the episode. I think after that it was pretty much fine after that. Maybe one minor slow pacing moment I'm coming up after that as well. But it didn't set a good start for the episode in my personal opinion. So after the Gatling and another attack, Luffy is able to down Kaido and in essence down himself as well, because his Gear 4 time has run out. So as we know, after Gear 4, for kids' benefit and just a reminder for us, for the audience, it was told to us by law, Gear 4 has run out, you need some time before you can do it again. It was 10 minutes in just row, so we don't know if it's still 10 minutes now, but just so kid can know, reminder to us, that's what law tells us. So with Luffy down, not soon after, Kaido does bounce back. And he does go on a bit of a rampage, and he does do the majority of the attacking as well. Big Mom does chop in there as well, do her thing as well. But for this episode, whereas last week it was the West Generation firing off the majority attacks, this week it was the Yonko firing off majority of the attacks. And like I said, the Yonko firing off attacks and the West Generations either dodging and defending to just to try and not lose any momentum they had, if they did if they did essentially have it. So the best bit of this half of the episode for me personally was seeing Zoro stance up for the Dragon Twister, that his attack that he does. And now it was impressive to see like the glow and the power up and the aura of Emma and all that. Well, that was all good. It was all impressive to see. But when you think about it, and it's not until I started recording that I actually did start to think this, is that this is another moment where the episode's pacing starts to slow down. I think I said it last week. This fight playing out in real life time would probably be a very fast paced action, a very fast paced fight, and you lose that in these kind of moments with the Gatling going on forever. You lose this in the moments where you just see Zoro like, cool to see. I'm not disputing that. But we are slowing down the pace of the fight in the process, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Well, how it should be. Anyway. But like I said, it's impressive to see. Now, it is mentioned within this episode that Zoro does cut Kaido, and we know that damaging a Kaido is a big thing that has been set up from early. Damaging Kaido is a big thing. If you can do something to damage Kaido, you are in yourself impressive in some way. But I feel like when it comes to Zoro cutting Kaido in this episode and later episodes to come, it is really taken away from Zoro, and I feel like the emphasis is not put on Zoro cut Kaido, it's Zoro cut Kaido because of Enma. So I feel like that's a takeaway for Zoro, when in all essence Zoro should be able to cut Kaido with any of his swords because he knows about the breath of all things. There was that a whole thing of him learning how to cut iron. So Zoro should be able to cut Kaido without Enma, and I hate that the emphasis is usually just put on Enma. So yeah, that's everything I want to talk about in regards to the fight really. We have that talk with CP0 at the end where they're basically just going through the numbers of how many people are left, and they're just kind of like what they are just hoping for, kind of just going through different scenarios and outplays of the fight and what could happen if things go a certain way. But it's basically, it seems like CP0 feel like the pirates slash samurai are going to lose, but they have hope and plans for if they don't lose, because there's that closing line before the scene flips back to Wolf Piece where you see the dudes basically saying, I hope these guys can take out as many people as possible. So the CP0 have got their own agenda here, but we don't know what yet, quite, for anime only watchers. So we flip back to Wolf Piece, and this is just basically a teaser for Kaido's hybrid form. We've seen this dragon form, we've seen this normal form. He's a zone type user, so you must have been wondering, what does his zone form look like? You'll see that next week. You'll see that next week. Yeah, and I'll just say I'll give you my opinions on Kaido's dragon form when that comes. But you'll see it next week. I'm going to give this episode, despite the slow start, I feel like the pacing of the episode is pretty good. We are in the midst of action. Action is always good for episode. I don't think it deserves anything more than a 3-star rating. You could say flipping over to CP0, that slows down the pace as well. And I could always say, yeah, if you threw us some filler fight scene, that would have been better. Obviously, I would always say that, but this is how the manga played out, so I can't fault it for that. So I do believe it deserves a 3-star rating. And that course, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please go to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.